All right, we're live. Trying to
All
look like I'm
right.
in the TV on our logo, but
I like that.
kind of cuts off my ears.
Well, it's tough with the headsets. I don't need the backgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. It's like when you have
I
like
need a
what's the
green
other?
screen.
Yeah, me too. When I do like the water one, the Miami scene, it's like, my head's constantly going in and out of it.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just kind of annoying, but um, and I don't like the headsets either because it seems to exacerbate that effect. But look, I mean, I, markets are looking good, man. I'm telling you.
What's
The
the market? I haven't even looked at the markets today. Hold
Well, BTC has been floating around 17. It's at 16,967. Looks like it's been going up and over. But all the
17,
equities are up.
13 right now.
I'm sorry.
17,000. Oh no, now back under
Yeah.
16,979.
I'm looking at the Binance. Oh no, I'm looking at the
I'm going
BTC
to change out. I
as
don't like
well.
this background. I don't like the way it cuts off my
But
head.
look, I think what's on top of everything else that looks to have been going good is, that Xi Biden meeting at the G20 summit, and the fact that the next day after the meeting, the chief Chinese, what do we call it? I don't want to say propaganda, but chief Chinese government newspaper, let's say, came out with the front, above
Headline.
the fold headline story was this picture of, Biden and Xi shaking hands in between the two flags and everything. So, they shifted state messaging, obviously, to, okay, but we're not going to be able to demonize them and then deal with the Russian mess at the same time. It's that, we got to take the doom and gloom off and, start like a rapprochement between everyone.
Right.
So evidently, from what I've heard, they had a really good 3.5-hour discussion.
Wow. All right.
Which was about, look.
I heard something like they were told the military was told to prepare for war. I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't see any report of that, but I saw like several.
That was maybe before. No, I didn't see any of that. But maybe there's, somebody saying it. I don't know. But look, the thing is, it takes it down a notch. And so, look, coming out of the COVID lockdowns, China, a lot of speculation, and another channel I'm in about, something we don't talk a lot about, which is that, China has a strategic petroleum reserve too. And they're really talking about a bunch of SPR releases next year in China, because they're really dependent upon, imported oil. So COVID lockdowns ending, hopefully they're opening up the economy. And then, some energy price support to, keep the price of oil down. And I think the markets are reacting very favorably across the board. I saw China really rallied last night, and Hang Seng up 723, Shenzhen 237. So 2%. Hang Seng was 4%. I mean, that's a big move. So U.S. equities are popping. Europe, it's up. I mean, we got to keep the FTSE or keep the UK out of that European stuff. I think the one to watch there right now is DAX and the German and the French ones. But, I feel like it looks good. And then all the interest rate stuff seems to be heading toward that soft landing. Talk about what does this Ukraine-Russia ending look like? I guess if I'm Lukashenko, I'm feeling the Belarus dude. I'm feeling a little nervous. Like I might be the sacrificial lamb.
That would be good.
But it's like I feel like there's some, and then surviving the midterm elections, basically. Man. Where it turned out to be kind of a non-event.
My apologies to our Republican listeners, but I tweeted yesterday that I'm willing to watch Fox News for the next 24 hours just in case I could get to see what's the one?
Carrie Lake cry.
I want to see Carrie Lake cry.
Well, I think that the market, the people, whatever, I think it kind of signaled that just tired of all the friggin'.
Well, look, I mean, Biden made the exact right strategic move to go and make a referendum on democracy. And somebody made the point the other day. I don't remember where I was. Oh, it was in the Atlantic, I think. Anyway, they made the point that there's a tie-in there was a candidate, a woman who ran in a Republican district in Washington State for Congress. And she's a small business owner, owns an automotive shop with her husband. Her family's all lumber loggers, and her slogan was protecting your freedom. But she would always annotate protecting your freedom with gun rights, pro-choice,
individual rights,
protecting individual rights. Right. And she just hammered that, and she won. She wasn't supposed to win, and she won. And I think that's a winning message. Anyway, let's not get stuck.
Well, no, but you're right. You're right. Look, I think everybody's starting to see through all the clutter. Yeah. And they're starting to see, look, these labels don't really mean anything. It's like, what is important to me? And what I find interesting is that when you put all of, some of these arguments we've been having for a long time, and put them in a different context, like individual rights, women's rights, then it's not about, it fits all the other arguments, or all the other frameworks, libertarian, individual rights, decentralization, democracy, all of it, allowing, self-actualization through free will. And all of a sudden everybody realized, wait, that's what we're really all about. We're not about really telling everybody what to do, because God knows how long did it take just to get people to wear seatbelts and, drive sober?
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it, it's my American right to drink and drive. It's like, let's go back 30, 40 years. I'm not talking about today. But, the point is that anybody wants to tell us
at the bar.
I'm sorry, what?
I said to-go cups at the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Drive-through. Yeah. I remember drive-through stuff where you get, full frozen margaritas with salt on the rim driving through.
When I was in high school in Texas and Oklahoma, the only person that wasn't allowed to be drinking in the vehicle was the car. Everybody else could have booze.
Except the car.
Except the driver.
The driver. Okay, got it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so everybody else would be drinking. Yeah, I was telling my daughter this, when we were kids. And what was Friday night? It was like, 4 or 5 dudes in a car, everybody with their own 6-pack, drinking beer and driving around town.
Exactly.
Just looking for shit to do, which the more you drink gets more inane. Like, running over mailboxes and donuts in yards and just stupid stuff. But because you're bored.
Yeah.
So
anyway, to start off the show, I posted this on Twitter, but this just makes me happy. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, the people that are addicted to TikTok, whatever. But this just made me really reflect and think, as much as I'm not excited about where the U.S. is, I am feeling a little better after the election. But this is a video for those that are just listening. You're just going to hear the audio. You're just going to hear the audio in the podcast, but it's a Hispanic man in a UPS outfit that's from Cuba. Oh, it's going to suck on the podcast because it's subtitles. But, for those watching, you'll get to enjoy it. The rest of you can skip ahead.
You can hear the subtitles, right?
I guess I could read the subtitles to everybody. What I'm saying. Anyway.
Can you do it in Spanish for us?
This just brought me joy. It made me feel good about, freedom. Speaking of freedom.
¿Está grabando, no? Yeah. Grábame. No se te olvide eso, grábame. Mira cómo sacar del bolsillo.
Oh my God.
Mi primer cheque americano. ¿Cuánto gané yo aquí? ¡Sí!
Look at the taxes.
Pero prefiero esto que no Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro me quitaba más. El comunismo me quitaba más. ¿Tú sabes qué? Este es mi primer cheque por hora. Que tú sientes que cada hora de trabajo vale. Que cada hora de trabajo tiene una importancia en tu vida. Y que se lucha, que sabes que puedes luchar por algo. Es un sentimiento que no es comparable con nada. Porque nunca lo tuve en mi país. En Cuba no lo hay. Y aquí lo tengo la prueba. Aquí está.
Love that. Makes me tear up.
Yeah, we often forget just how good we have it, in the sense of that, we throw a bunch of labels and, compete in a bunch of areas, information, sports, you name it, government, politics. But you look at a lot of these other places, man, they don't even have the ability to do that.
Yeah. For those just listening, it was a Cuban, a recent immigrant from Cuba, probably here in Miami. And I often make fun of some of the attitudes of the Cuban community, but he's newly arrived. He has his first job in the United States. He gets his first paycheck from UPS, and he's talking about, how much it means to him and how important it is to him to be able to have the freedom to go out and work and earn money. And then he talks about the taxes and how, there would be nothing left from Fidel taking his money. So anyway, just was really touching. It made me stop and remember how good we have it, as much as we complain about shit here. So anyway.
Well, look, man, if people are willing to die to get here in floatable boats and shit, floating from Cuba to the Keys or Miami, or they're, willing to swim across the Rio Grande, or they're willing to sit in a friggin' container for 27 days coming from Asia or something like that. Honestly, those are the kind of go-getters I want.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want people who sit around complaining and whining and bitching about everything.
Exactly.
Or that are spoiled. I want people that want to do stuff. And, I look at stuff like that and it makes me think, about just how can I be more productive?
Yeah.
Or how can I give more? Because you just forget that's the brand.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to be all about.
Sean says the average person in the West is the 1%. We forget how lucky we are.
Yeah,
we really do. And it was a great reminder for me yesterday. It really touched me to see somebody realizing that, showed the kids and said, this is, you're so fortunate. I had a funny little debate like that, not debate, discussion with my daughter. And she is like, hopefully nobody's listening, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. He was like, your mom was taking her to set up a bank account. And she's like, I'm just worried about this. I'm like, what are you worried about, man? It's a bonding thing. Go with your mom. She's really good at money. And so I said, she's like, no, but I think she's doing this so she can take away my credit card, because she's always talking about my charges. And I'm like, she goes, what are we like? Am I not allowed to charge dinners and stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. What are you talking about? And she's like, well, are we poor? What do we do? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with you and your mom, but you need to fix it, sort it out. Just go get the bank account with her. It's not a big deal. I can put money in it. Explain to people you're divorced.
Oh yeah, I am divorced, but I get along with her ex, so it's not like it's not a bad thing. It's just that she's from South America too, and so a slightly different perspective on some things. Yeah, definitely the 1%er type out of South America, but it's just it's much more old Spain. Let's put it that way. Yeah, and on the girls. And where I'm more like, this is America, man. She's an American girl. She's not going to respond to that kind of caging up shit. Gotta let her rip, man. Let her run. Make good decisions. That kind of shit. So I'm like, that's my thing. You can't lock them up. She grew up. She grew up in, I'll go say Lima, Peru, and so her dad was a big time, general, congressman, all of it you could possibly think of. And, they grew up in these houses or hacienda type things where, even in the city, where there was a big courtyard. And, they didn't really leave the courtyard. Yeah. They didn't go outside the walls, basically. So, they're super paranoid. And, here, throw that on top of how we're afraid to let our kids walk down the street. Whereas when we were kids, it was like, I'm going out, Ma, at 8:30. And she's like, be back by dinner time. And that was it. You're gone. Yeah. And you went running wherever you wanted. Yeah. And so, I think that world still exists out here. And, I more encourage people to just, try to put some guardrails on it, but you can't control them. Yeah. You got to find outlets for them. And so, this is America, and women are going to do what women want to do. And it's not even our fucking business. Okay. So let them do it. Not let them do it. Get out of the fucking way, I guess. Yeah.
So my poll wrapped up. I said, I'm not buying into conspiracies, but here's a question. If SBF had something on Gensler, would you support a testimony deal for Sam? And 44.9% are more want to get Gensler more than they want to get Sam. So they said they'd take the deal for Sam to testify. So, you know, and 18.8% said stupid question, which probably was, but it was fun anyway. So
yeah, it was fun, man. I like that. I mean, obviously there's both of those parties are going to do whatever's in their self-interest.
Of course.
And if one can throw the other under the bus first, you know they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I was watching, you know, I saw Ken Griffin of Citadel fame, and, you know, on Bloomberg cryptocurrency show, which of course is, you know, it's a rogues gallery of TradeFi people getting their ass handed to them in crypto, which is, I kind of find it a little bit funny myself. But, you know, it made me think a couple of things. One, if all these guys are on FTX, they better start, you know, they might want to all Google seed phrase security, because odds are they got that seed phrase laying all over the friggin' place. You might want to get that under control. But what he said was interesting. He goes, look, crypto market is a fraction of what it used to be. And I'm kind of like, well, you know, 800 billion versus 3 trillion peak. Is that a fraction? No, I don't think it's really a fraction. It's less. But, you know, he said, and now most of it is BTC and ETH. And those are under CFTC regulatory framework. And so he's like, most of the market is under a regulatory framework now. And I said, I hadn't really thought of it like that. But I'm like, yeah, most of it is. And so, you know, it seems to me that there's a, you know, they're all in it. And they're all, you know, got their hats handed to them a little bit. And now they're trying to figure out what's next, but they're not going anywhere. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. So these types of things with Gensler and Sam, I would like to see it turn into a mess of public disclosure, because I really do want to see what's going on there too.
Yeah, me too. I think everybody does.
And why, you know, and let's get, look, it's already regulated. So this kind of shit, FTX, those platforms, you know, anytime you're going to be hosting stuff on a platform, it has to be insured. It just can't not be insured. And I think that, you know, there's that, and then there's us. And what I mean by that is, I mean, you know, again, I'm not shilling anything, but people that aspire to be decentralized, you know, like I look at your guys at Canto, you know, I look at, you know, my guys at Geist, you know, people that are trying to do really decentralized stuff, and it's holding up in this market, which I find interesting.
It is.
So look for that. You know, Monad, you brought to us last Friday, I believe, which we still haven't had a chance to dig into. But Monad's got big people behind it, and it is doing some decentralized stuff. Look, the decentralized stuff like Zero VIX, I'm not going to call it decentralized, I'm sorry. But if you're going to do like a bank model, you know, bank model has been take in user deposits, pay them 3% interest, lend it out at 6% interest with a multiplier of like 11 to 1. You make the money on the spread between 6 and 3. That's the bank model. You can do that perfectly in crypto if that's all you do, you know, and it's peer-to-peer and it all matches up. That stuff is all there. It's only when we start mixing in to, you know, where people put stuff on deposit to go get yield. And to me, maybe that type of stuff belongs more on regulated platforms versus
wait, what belongs on regulated platforms?
The kind of the stuff that was going on at FTX, you know, the deposit for yield, the Celsius stuff, the FTX stuff, all of that. Maybe in certain quantities or certain ways that maybe that sits over here on the, you know, kind of the boring big stuff. But, you know, maybe there's other ways to still do stuff like that with limits in, you know, these pure decentralized places. But that's what I'm getting at is I'm finding most of the cool stuff is out there on the edge still. So let everybody fight over the last millennium business model, you know, the TradFi bank model, let's say. Oh my God, FTX wasn't a bank? It wasn't insured? Well, who'd I give my seed phrase to? You know, they can play that game all day long. But, you know, let's be over with the other cool stuff and let's keep pushing and let's keep building.
Jake Travinsky he's one of the legal follows that I do in my crypto legal list. He's head of one of the blockchain associations, and he did this great thread kind of outlining what's up and what's next. And then I said, you know, I retweeted and said, I truly believe Gensler wanted FTX to be the NASDAQ of crypto. That's why he was working with Sam to position them how he was hoping to position them, because that's where he wanted to land when, you know, this whole thing, when he leaves office. So, I mean, that's my own personal opinion. But Jake did really good thread. I'll put it in the show notes. He says FTX allowed trading of tokenized stocks that were obviously within the SEC's jurisdiction if offered to the U.S. retail market. But what was the SEC doing? Prosecuting the library, doing media hits on Kim Kardashian and harassing upstanding U.S. firms with pointless investigations. All the while, the SEC was apparently in secret talks with FTX to grant them exemptive relief and give them a regulatory advantage over U.S. firms. That's backwards. The SEC should be helping U.S. firms compete against offshore rivals, not the other way around. The SEC failed us. FTX also allowed trading of derivatives subject to CFTC jurisdiction. It was first and foremost a derivatives exchange. When BitMEX did that, the CFTC prosecuted them for operating an unregistered futures commission merchant. FTX was the same. But what was the CFTC doing? The CFTC was busy working on FTX's proposal to offer derivatives to U.S. retail participants. They published the proposal for public comment this March. Meanwhile, it was prosecuting U.S. firms for minor violations and filing a flawed lawsuit against a DAO. The CFTC failed us. There's still so much we don't know about FTX. The investigations will be and should be extensive and unrelenting. But in addition to investigating FTX, we need to know how U.S. regulators got this so wrong. Until then, none of them deserve more authority to regulate crypto. And he has to talk to these people all the time. I mean, he's part of a legal, entity that's lobbying and fighting regulators and, the whole bit.
I mean, he's right on a lot of, I don't want to say what he's not right on or right, but it's on most of it, if not all of it. But when a company is playing the game and they're on the Hill slinging cash around to all the people on the committees that write the legislation,
yep.
And then they're backing, other political powerhouses, maybe PACs or think tanks, it's kind of hard for regulators to go after them as the first target.
Yep.
And I don't want to say that they're protected, but they have influence.
They at least get the first round of protection.
And they get the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Because everybody's like, oh no, it's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of money with him. It's cool.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And everybody's like, yeah, but, and he's like, yeah, no, take it down these guys first. Come back to this later. They're going to get their shit straight. And, they don't. I mean, this is what, others that I've known have done, as you get on a circuit and you're going to all these dinners all the time and all these breakfasts. But, when you show up to the breakfast meeting, you're also writing a check for $1,000 or something. And that's how it gets you in there, So then if anything pops up that, hey, there might be trouble at, let's say, FTX, your first inclination is, no, that guy's a good guy or that gal's a good gal. It can't be them. That can't be right.
Right.
And so business as usual. And they show up at the next one and it's nothing. Here's $1,000. Okay, cool. Come on in. It's not, that's the way DC works.
Yep.
So I could see how he would get the free pass on a lot of stuff.
Oh, I forgot. Chuck said earlier, this is how it was when I was in high school. In Texas in 1987, anyone could have an open container as long as the driver was not intoxicated. The good news out of all of this is shit that needed to get done previously and hadn't gotten done is getting done, right? So Binance is going to implement Vitalik Buterin's proof of reserves protocol that he wrote up. So they're going to be the ones to test it out, to show and prove the reserves that they have on chain. And, look, if out of all of this nastiness, we start seeing more people into DeFi, more people self-custody, and more exchanges proving that they have the reserves, it's a great thing. It's the silver lining, I guess.
Well, also, look, man, I have not, up until now, I hadn't seen this super clear pathway now for, something you have said a couple of times, but, Binance becoming a bank. A real bank. I mean, just go through the process now because you got all the juice, all the leverage. If you step into the void now where SBF was, and you start picking up the mantle of the cash funnel, then you will get your license eventually. It's going to take a while. I mean, maybe another jurisdiction, maybe you buy one, but this is a really, they got the scale to really do this now and fit in. Because they have been making inroads to, I mean, I don't want to, how do I say this the right way? keeping Americans off of the platform, let's say.
Yeah.
Or, KYCing people. I guess they're KYCing everybody now, right?
Well,
Globally?
yeah, they're KYCing and keeping Americans off.
No, but I mean, because they used to not KYC anybody back 5-6 years
Well,
ago.
yeah, there was like a minimum up to like 2 or 3 Bitcoin a day or something like that. Yeah.
Which when it was 3,000 was no big deal, but when it's 65,000, it's like people are moving 125,000 a day on non-KYC accounts. But yeah, that was a problem. Seems like it's cleaned up now. So
Sean says CZ is dancing around the issue. The credible exchanges have done Merkle tree, proof of reserves, and proof of liability. CZ plays test with one side of the equation. Sean, could you let me know what exchanges have it? I'd definitely love to take a look at that.
I thought Kraken put something out. I couldn't tell if people were making fun of him or not, though.
I don't know. Sean does not like CZ, but
and Crypto.com put something out, and that's when they brought up the whole issue of all the SHIB they're holding.
Yeah.
Hey, did it come out of Justin Sun and his deal with FTX?
I think they were still trying to do that but I assume with the bankruptcy filing, that's off.
Freezes it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's probably not happening. DeFi Llama, of course, published a new dashboard, centralized exchange transparency dashboard, to show eventually liabilities. They'll have links to the wallets, the whole bit. Right now, I think they just have current TVL. And so they have current TVL versus clean TVL. Clean TVL is deducting BNB, but deducting exchange tokens. So BNB for Binance, FTT for FTX, etc. So anyway, sizable TVL for Binance compared to number 2, Crypto.com. OKX at 5.8 billion, but there's a lot of data to be filled in. Down here on Coinbase and Kraken, they don't have the numbers. So Sean just said Kraken and BitMEX have proof of reserves, Merkle tree. So assuming that DeFi Llama will add the Kraken data eventually here to show it, but they do show their auditors. They show the most recent date of audit, which is good.
Who are give me the name of some of the auditing firms. I'm just curious.
Deloitte.
Okay.
Right, I think Amanino was FTX's, one of FTX's. FTX had 2. So they're going to probably be under a little scrutiny. I have a feeling they won't be getting any more new gigs. Yeah,
as much as I hate to say it, the groups you want on these types of gigs, this is what I used in Asia all the time. I use KPMG a lot, and I use Ernst & Young. Now, I know big consulting firms, we know the issues there.
Yeah.
But if you want to get on the inside track where the big boys are playing, that's who you put in there, because that's a CYA cover your ass play. Because then anybody that invests in you or does anything with you, there could be like, hey man, E&Y, any company, KPMG, E&Y, Deloitte, they're the auditors. Who else was, who's better than that? If they were there, I should think nothing's going to go wrong. And the fact of the matter is, usually nothing does at that point. I mean,
right.
For the investors. So, you go that route. If you're going to try to be the Crypto.com, FTX, Binance, those types, I would highly recommend that. Because one, you get armies of these drone MBAs that just want to do all the administrative and operational stuff. They don't want to do the vision stuff or get involved with what you're doing. But at least the data coming out, and remember, data is a plural word, is, about as good as it gets. So you can act on that data. And so when you're out talking to people, you're acting off of data generated by them. So when you start connecting dots and selling, you don't get yourself in trouble as far as misrepresenting things. So,
yeah.
And the regulators, the law firms, anytime you get in a dust up with anybody, the very first thing those lawyers look at is who is your law firm.
Yep.
And if they see nobody, they're like, oh, this is going to be a shit show. But if they see like a top 5 global law firm in there, they're like, oh, okay, these guys got it going on. There's nothing too bad here.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's institutional grade stuff. So look at those firms. If you want to be an exchange and take deposits, investor money, it's not fun, but it lets you not have to worry so much about ending up in the, what are they got, 3x5 cells these days?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Shizzy says Kevin O'Leary was on Crypto Banter today and basically said the FTX crash got the regulators motivated to finally get something done soon. Well, we'll see what that looks like. I don't have any faith in them doing it right. Chuck says the Merkle tree magic has been a panacea all over the ETH universe. It by itself is not a trust mechanism. It's about rolling up child transactions into a parent, not validating them. So, Chuck calling bullshit. And Sean said, and proof of liability is needed as well.
So they're only showing one side of the ledger.
Of course.
They're not, they're only showing the asset side.
Yeah, I mean, they'll publish what their liabilities are, but I don't think there's any way for them to do that on chain unless the liabilities are on chain loans, right? You know, if you've borrowed money against collateral on a lending protocol, then you can put that.
We should be able to see. Yeah, we should be able to see a balance sheet.
But if you borrowed money from Wells Fargo, not so much.
Well, see, that's what I think is that we should be able to see the whole balance sheet because that's the only way you can tell
it up to date.
If these are financially solvent or not.
And look, here's the thing that the message that sends to the rest of the financial community, right? If all the major exchanges update they got one guy whose job every day is to fucking update that fucking balance sheet and make sure that it gets updated and posted on chain, on a website, whatever. And then the proof of reserves is on chain and can be seen, and you can look at the wallets and see what's there. Then definitely think, I think that makes a ton of sense. So I think it sends a message that we're taking the extra step that you guys would never take. Right. Or you wouldn't take except every 3 months when you have to do a call.
Yeah.
Sean said, check out the BitMEX method, the gold standard for reserves and liabilities on their blog. I will do that, Sean. Thank you very much. We will talk about that.
Yeah, because I mean, shouldn't these also get some level of I don't know who does it, but think about stress testing and things like that. Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff Europeans do all the time. Americans do it all the time. Brits do it all the time. I mean, it's something that tries to find these kind of holes in oversight. And so anything like that makes this stuff more, and again, this is this stuff. Okay. This is centralized stuff. This is not the stuff that, we really like to dabble in, but this is the stuff that people that aren't comfortable with setting up a friggin' wallet, go for. Yeah. So if it's more people in, we don't want them getting ripped off either.
Absolutely.
Even if they are making every mistake in the book, because it's only going to hurt us. But, this is where this is. I was kind of thinking a lot about this yesterday, how, when you kind of look at, when Bitcoin came out and the sort of Bitcoin ethos, which then kind of morphed into the crypto ethos, but how it just kind of kept going, but it stayed its own thing. And, it is the decentralized one. It is the one that's there. But then all these other things came along that became more centralized type plays of that original decentralization.
Yeah.
And that's where, regulators have trouble understanding what things are. But I think if we go back to that original ethos and all the stuff the Bitcoin ethos and all the stuff we're working on in DeFi, I think that might help us find what we're trying to create here.
Yeah.
But to each his own.
I haven't had time to climb into the how and the why of this, but this is BitMEX's most recent snapshot of their Bitcoin proof of reserves and proof of liabilities. So we'll take a deeper look at this, but appreciate you pointing it out, Sean. And one of our listeners and one of my followers on Twitter, who calls himself Q not Anon, QHSNYJ on Twitter, is actually helping to write this and another proof of reserves document for the Bitcoin Policy Institute. He sent me a direct message earlier today that this was up. New versions of this are coming. And then there's another report coming out from the same pair of guys. They're doing a companion piece to address other areas of concern to this. So, look, Bitcoin communities over there doing the work. So that's great to see. And hopefully you would think that if BitMEX is the gold standard, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just use what they use. Now, maybe just Bitcoin. So maybe there are other complications or issues relative to other chains. But anyway, good to see. Good to see.
You know what I'm looking at real quick, Brad?
Yep.
Is I'm looking at the top gainer coins today, the top two. Without looking, what do you think they are?
Solana and FTT.
FTT, yes, but Serum on.
Serum on Solana. Yeah, because I saw that there was they were working through some solution. Serum, I believe, froze any more activity in their lending mechanisms. Something I just glanced past a Twitter.
Tweet and then of course today. FTT is doing a little lunk right now. But I don't know. You know, the $1.98. I mean, maybe on $1, and then you ride it too. But it's like trading anything, like trading Doge or trading SHIB or any of that other shit. There's
wait for the community that says we're going to take it over. Sam Bankman's like finger on the dump button. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't think he's going to be dumping anything. I think his accounts are all frozen. But no, you're right. It's not one to bet the turnaround. It's not one to bet the long term with. But sometimes in these, you get all the people thinking, huh?
You want to play the scalps on the idiots buying it? Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the play. I mean, that's what happens at all the
play with anything substantial.
No, but you play it just like you understand the 20% yields are, you know, VC money. Yeah. It's not like they're actually going out and earning 20% anywhere to pay you because there's no way to do that. So, you know, go in with an open eye, knowing what's going on. But, you know, look at anything at the top of the leaderboard. Every single day, you're going to see stuff like that.
Yep. So New York Times came out with a piece from an interview with Sam yesterday, and the community is not pleased. It's being called a puff piece. New York Times was paid off, blah, 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 blah. I thought it made Sam look like a total fucking idiot. So I
think he's already done that pretty well, hasn't he?
Yeah, but this made it even worse. This was to me even worse. But you know, we've got all these conspiracy theories running fucking rampant. To Gensler was paid off, to Sam was, you know, paid off the New York Times, to, you know, it was a plot at the tops of the federal government to do a psyop to take out crypto by creating this exchange, and that Sam's parents set him up to crash and burn so it could take down crypto, and just all this bullshit. And it's just like, come on, people, seriously, it's fucking Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is what happened. And if you've ever worked with a group of human beings in any capacity, corporate, government, I don't give a shit. People don't keep secrets. People don't coordinate well. And if you think that hundreds of people in the federal government are coordinating all these conspiracy theories, then you're just not living in reality, because it's just not possible. Just
people talk. People
Humans are idiots.
Yeah.
Number one, they can't competently coordinate like that. Number two, people talk. Yeah, it's just stupid. Anyway, this piece was a little softer than I probably would have expected, but I happen to have a relationship with the reporter. So I'm working really hard to get him on the show Friday. He's going up the chain to the powers that be to see if he's permitted to come on and talk to us about this article. So we'll see what happens.
Well, make sure you send the clips of Deliverance and a few other ones. That should get the whole editorial board on top of this one.
Sean said, the story is simply DJN gambled customer funds away and covered it with his own shitcoin. And of course, then he has to make another dig at CZ, the Binance model, except that we have zero evidence of Binance borrowing against his own token. So completely different.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff never shows up until the price crashes. You never see that until the price crashes. So
Shizzy said, so the conspiracy about the FTX office orgies, we're not true. Oh no, that's not a conspiracy. That may be true. And frankly, I wouldn't shock me at all, but that doesn't require any coordination.
Look, you know, all the other stories, like the meth stories I'm hearing, you know, it's like, it was just a shit show. But again, it comes back to like, who was watching the kids, basically? You know, if you're giving somebody $600 million, I mean, dude, I'm going to be in your friggin' office 24/7 making sure that you're not fucking me over. And that's why I can't believe nobody's in there watching these guys or checking on them and showing up impromptu. I mean, I would be all over that stuff because you can't trust people.
Yeah. Did you know he owned 30% of the guy that was the press guy for Trump?
Mooch?
Mooch. He owned 30% of Mooch's fund.
Skybridge.
Skybridge.
Yeah, I heard they were trying to buy it back or something.
Yeah, he's trying to get it out, trying to buy it back from him.
Yeah, I mean, so what if you're SBF or you're the bankruptcy court, you're saying, yeah, twice what we put in. That's the price.
Surprise. Sean said you think so. I think he's saying you think so to me, saying that CZ hasn't used it as collateral.
No.
In fairness, Sean, to your argument, I am going on CZ's word of that. And right now I have no reason not to trust him about that, but you're right. We don't know for sure. So I would think though, that if he had, some folks in the industry probably would say, red alert, Binance is in trouble. They've collateralized all their BNB, but who knows? I'm willing to call him out if he does stupid shit and endangers people's funds, but I think he's smarter than that, frankly.
Well, look, if everybody,
and he also doesn't own a market making hedge fund that is the sole market maker on his exchange.
Brad, this is when we were talking months ago, and I was like, oh, real VC or crypto VC? And you're like, oh no, these are like crypto VC. And it was like Alameda and all these people. And I'm like, yeah, but they haven't ridden a down cycle. They're not really real VCs because this is all kind of play money right now in a lot of ways. I mean, it's real money, don't get me wrong, but when you got a big stack of winnings in front of you, like when you're at the casino, it's 3:30 in the morning at the craps table, you're up a shitload. What are you doing? You're tipping the cocktail waitresses $100 chips and stuff. You're just like throwing the money everywhere because it's not real.
Right.
But when you like lose half of that stack, all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck, I got to sober up here and get the hell out of here. Or, if you get beaten down on a VC investment, you learn lessons. They never had those.
Yeah.
And so now they're getting them all at once. And then you look at everybody's like, oh my God, what was going on there? But it's half the fault of the investors.
Yeah. Sean said, let's do some chain stuff online on Thursday, man. Dude, it's your show on Thursday.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want. He said, of course he has his own venture fund. How would he own FTC? Yeah, of course. They have Binance Labs. They have a venture fund. Absolutely have a venture fund. I just don't think that they've what I said was they didn't own the sole market maker on their exchange, which was a big part of the problem. And the story that's now coming is up until sometime this year, FTX did not, it was post Luna that FTX had to bail out Alameda. And that's when Sam transferred user funds out sometime after Luna. Supposedly, this is the current storyline. And the reason they had to do that, it wasn't that Alameda had massive exposure to Luna themselves. It's that people that owed them money had massive exposure, or people they owed money to had massive exposure and debts got called due, both ways. Mm-hmm. So that's the most recent thing I've heard. And Shizzy, Sean says, Sean's hosting Thursday. Let's go.
All right.
Shizzy seems a little too happy for that. What's up with that? Is he like, he's like, yeah, Sean, just do it every day, dude.
What everybody loves to hear from Sean. So
absolutely. I'm kidding. Anyway, so we'll see. Sean, I can't wait to discuss it on Thursday. It's going to be fun.
I guess I think what
Sam's out trying to raise more money.
A quick question. Has anybody seen the liability side of the balance sheet for Binance? I mean, is that out there anywhere?
I don't know.
Okay, I was just curious. If anybody has seen that, I'd love to. I mean, I guess I could go to Uncle Google, but if there's anyone floating around in some funding document from someone of the last couple of months, I'd love to see it. So, you can just DM us, either Brad or myself, B05 Crypto or Pathfinder 305, because we'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
So what's he doing now? Raising more money?
He's out trying to raise more money. I just like, dude, Sean's hosting Thursday. Shizzy said, I'll get my winter jacket ready and my bear shoes.
I love it.
Wait, Sean said it's not public. They say it's coming soon. Wait.
Okay.
What's
the balance, the ledger, the liability side?
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just would like to see that, but
Bozo's out trying to raise more money. You know what? I'm so tired of talking about FTX. This is a really good thread. It's like step by step what it's like a timeline of the fall of Alameda and the change in their strategy. And it's fascinating that this guy tweeted it, the entire storyline of how they ended up long and out of what they were doing, which was market making and arbitrage. And it's just fascinating to kind of see it, how he tweeted about the details of their choices and decision. Of course, in the bull market, they were geniuses, and so they thought it would last forever.
Yeah, up only. Everybody's a genius.
Oh, you sent me this one. Banking giants in New York Fed start 12-week digital dollar pilot. Oh, they're panicking.
I thought that was kind of interesting. I personally am not a fan of the digital dollar. I don't think it makes sense for us.
No,
unless
definitely not, because it's invasive, privacy violating, just too many nasty things that these people could do.
Yeah, unless there's a way. How much is that? What is it? 32 trillion in circulation, I think, or something like that right now, dollars. Unless it's a way where it's easier to spin out, maybe like wrap dollars into other countries that way. Maybe there's an application there. But for the most part, I like
USDC.
It's all USDC?
No, it should be called USDC.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why do you have to go reinvent it?
I think we already...
Because they want to control it.
Yeah, and I think they're going to... But I have a feeling that the people that are going to go, wait, the ones who really lose on this are the banks themselves.
Yeah.
Because they don't want it all disclosed.
Yep.
Look, what's a bank? It's a confidence entity, in that you have to have confidence that if you show up there to withdraw your money, it's going to be there. If you don't have that confidence, you're not going to put your money there.
Put it on chain.
Yeah. So if you can do that, then it kind of takes a lot of the banking margins and stuff and makes it public, which they're probably not going to like vis-a-vis, in comparison to their competitors, where they're all going to know what to bid on, big financings. But, maybe the retail level, or maybe there's some way that it benefits, but it's certainly not a central bank coin. I just think that's foolish.
Chuck says digital dollar is just exactly the same motivation as the digital one. I totally agree.
Yep.
It's control. It's manipulation, control, privacy invasion, tax collection. It's everything.
It's behavior modification is what it is. Yeah.
So analyst from JP Morgan was speaking at an event yesterday or day before, and out said FTX, the problem is centralization, has nothing to do with true crypto, true decentralization, DeFi, etc. Which for fucking JP Morgans to be saying this shit, that's that gets me excited. Not that I care what JP Morgan thinks.
But it's mission
that the message is in. Yeah,
it's mission accomplished.
Yeah, exactly.
If these guys are saying the problem was centralization, then the problem, everybody from the centralized tower is saying, the problem is centralization.
Yep.
Then it gives credence to all of their clients that, hey man, I need to look for decentralized stuff next time.
Yep.
So JP Morgan, why don't you start teeing up decentralized opportunities for everyone? Start pointing out what those look like. I'd love to know what you guys think are the good ones.
Yep.
We show you stuff every day, but I'm really curious what you guys think. And this is just fintechy stuff. So, we got the whole rest of crypto to deal with, decentralized science, identity type stuff. We got all these other applications that aren't finance. So I'd really love to see what the finance guys got to say. What are we doing wrong?
Yeah.
Tell us. Help us. Join us.
The bank is releasing the pro version of in beta of their platform. Remember when they took away the bundled, you could have multiple wallets, and they said that was going to come out in the pro version, which really pissed me off.
Yeah.
They are releasing it. They started the release of it today. You still can't do half the shit you used to could be able to do, but the idea is you're going to pay for this. You're going to have to mint a $96 NFT to be a part of their network, and then you can pay them some fee. It'll be free during beta, and you'll get 10 time machine on all addresses, enhanced bundles feature. So the idea of bundling multiple wallets together, a whale address list and their activity monitoring. So you can monitor whales, trades they're making, moves they're making, etc. Profound data analysts and insights for the on-chain token protocol NFT collection, which that's kind of, I think they're treading into the Nansen and Masari, especially Nansen, competing with them, which is interesting. And if you look at a Nansen, their base package is like $80 a month and up to, I think, 40,000 a year, something like that. But I really loved the bank's product, and it was more complete, better functioning, better UI than any of the other products like this, like Zerion or Zapper or whatever. What else? Time Machine is what's live today. Every Web3 ideal holder. So you go pay $96 to mint. You can try out the new features as they roll out. I thought it was really interesting that the founder of DeFi Llama was like, cool, would you be interested in doing sub payments through Llama Pay? We can build something custom for you. So he's trying to sell his Llama Pay product, while in fact, the bank and DeFi Llama have some crossover and competitiveness. But it's cool, and it's a great way to promote what they're doing.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting is I went back and dove back in to what's going on over there, and they have this link to this product called Hi. And Hi is a Web3 native messaging tool. We've kind of talked about it before, but what I didn't realize when we talked about it before, when you go to their white paper, this is actually built on their own layer 2. So they're building a messaging system that's built on their own layer 2 network. And then the way that it's going to work is they have a fairly interesting algorithm for the way messaging works. So if you're not connected to somebody and somebody wants us to reach you, they have to pay for the privilege, but the algorithm varies how much you're being paid based on how many people want to message you and how many messages you've received. So it's actually a pretty cool system that will allow people to pay to get in touch with somebody they don't have a connection to, or pay to get in touch with a wallet address. They may not even know who the person is, but they can pay to, like, they could pick out, addresses, every address that has, registered on OpenSea and has X number of NFT sales or X number of sushi transactions. And then you can message them. So it's a marketing thing, right? You can reach out about a project instead of sending them tokens that people are nervous about touching, and pay to reach them. Anyway, they've got a, offer price curve built into the system. It's very interesting to me. Here's my problem.
Can I ask a question before you tell us the problem? How does this relate to our buddies project? The one that we're talking about on Reddit? The messaging platform project?
Oh, it relates.
Okay, that's what I was.
Different implementation, but similar.
Yeah, so I think there's some good information here for our buddy.
Yeah.
To look at.
Yeah,
Okay.
for niblets.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with this one. The problem with this one is, yeah, you may get the bank users to use it, but are you going to get all the whales that people want to communicate with to use it? Are you going to get, enough wallet addresses using the messaging system and having it as part of their interactions with DeFi? Are you going to get enough of them to make it worth it? Because now you've got the cart and horse thing. Basically, you're creating a marketplace, right? You're creating a messaging protocol. You and I can message each other because our wallets are connected, right? So that's cool. But you and I can message each other on Telegram, Discord,
whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you going to incentivize people to adopt this, right? Because I've got to mint an NFT to adopt it, and I've now got to have this other application or other system running for messaging. Now, if I use DeBank all day, man, makes sense. I'll have messaging in the DeBank interface. But if I don't use DeBank and I want to reach out to people with a specific wallet, configuration or use history, then if they don't have DeBank messaging, how are they going to get them signed up? Right. So they're going to have a cart and horse problem. It's a classic kind of marketplace problem, right? How do you generate enough people that want it? And how do you make it so that people that have the addresses want to bother with it and be on the messaging platform? Now, if you're making 10 grand every time somebody messages you, okay, you might sign up. Right. But if you're holding $100 million in your wallet and you're making $50 for every time somebody wants to message you, probably not going to go with it. So anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
They may have a reason to solve it, but I don't know what it is yet. Doesn't say
I
it in the
like
white
I
paper.
like the idea, though. I mean, just like I like the idea in Niblitz's concept. But I think you're right. It has to be where, I mean, how do you, like, if someone messages you on your, like, if it's wallet to wallet messaging, is NFTs or how's the message being sent? I don't think a lot of people know how to, like,
yeah, I don't know if it's
that.
going to happen in wallet, if it's going to happen in the DeBank application, because
Yeah.
you register. It's probably going to happen in the DeBank application because you register your wallet on DeBank, right? And then you can associate some identity if you want to with an NFT that you mint on DeBank.
Yeah.
And then DeBank has all the data already. You know, they have every wallet's data. They just have to queue it for the person that wants to collect it. So I'm assuming that interface will happen in DeBank. They actually launched a mobile app as well recently.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So you can message through that. Look, you know, so strategically, I think it's a smart move. How they get adoption is, Chuck says, it's Metcalfe's law. They have to give it away for a long time to get there. Network value is n squared of users. So yeah, they're gonna have to give it away. But they're charging out of the bank for a lot of shit. So I don't know. I mean, I guess their investors wanted. I've had a couple of conversations with the CEO at DeBank trying to get him on the show, and he's just reluctant to appear on any shows. But you know, I assume the investors in DeBank are saying, "Hey, revenue stream time." So you know, they're charging for everything except the basic
Yeah, I
shit.
mean, it makes sense.
You know, there's the C. This is currently what you can get. These are the pro features: whale tracking, bundles, token tracking, protocols, and NFTs. And then, like I said, I guess we'll see what this high messaging app comes out like.
I mean, I guess the implication, you could load in, you know, the whale watching wallets that you want to watch.
Yeah.
And that's basically that's the alpha you basically want out of this platform.
Yeah.
At that point. So I'm kind of wondering, I mean, I see the messaging application, but I see it more from if you're a protocol owner or controller, let's say, and you have all these users or all these token owners, let's say, holding that NFT in their wallet or something like that, or tokens.
Right.
And you can do compliance messaging, or, I mean, boring shit like that. Or you can do, you know, governance vote coming up stuff and message within the wallets. I mean, that's kind of where I think it really has to be. Like, I think Swift was doing something. I mean, some lame messaging thing on chain, not to wallets, but just to record that they'd put the compliance notice up in an immutable fashion. And that got all kinds of buzz. And what is it? Nothing. It's like a fax thing or something like that, basically. In today's terms, it's the equivalent. So to me, any way they can master that in the messaging within the wallets, because it seems like, I mean, the feds have already, the regulators already shown that's where they want to start serving people. So it's like, maybe this everybody becomes a node.
Yeah.
You know, and it's on your smartphone or something. I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting thing to take the communications platforms off of just messaging and then route them through instead a wallet, which is actually an identity, a digital identity in a way.
Right.
That is going to be interesting and something I haven't thought about much.
I stumbled upon another product. I don't know how new it is. I think it is fairly new. It's called Watchers.pro. This is, again, Sifu's wallet. Really has some cool functionality. Like, you can see the wallet that you're looking at's activity over time in a chart. You can see the main contracts that they're interacting with. And if they are known, they'll be labeled, which is really cool. So you can see what things they're looking at and go check it out, whatever. Shows their current portfolio in multiple pages. I don't know if this one you can expand. No. Tokens that they've sent in the last 7 days, tokens they've received in the last 7 days, and all of their most recent activity. So this is pretty cool. I don't see any alert functionality in this, but I do like the product. And then they also have NFT collection for the wallet you're watching. And then what they call entity analysis, which I'm not sure what that means. Oh, look at that. There are labels too.
Entity
so he's got
analysis.
Labels on his.
Yeah, maybe you're looking at a fund, or you're looking at, you know, like maybe like the Alameda stuff. Like, you could load up all the wallets or something.
Yeah, maybe.
and look at a protocol in all their wallets, perhaps.
I don't know, but this is really interesting to
that
me.
looks cool.
Yeah, it's a really and again, you got all these kind of data plays that are merging and having crossover technology with each other. It's going to be real interesting to see where everybody comes out. But go ahead.
I was going to say, for the users, I mean, I might be stating the obvious here, and apologies, I am probably stating the obvious to a lot of our listeners or watchers, but if you're tracking, say, the top 20 wallets or the people you respect, like Brad's wallet or Sifu's wallet or Gainsey or any of those people, when you see their holdings, what you're looking for is commonality across those portfolios.
Yeah.
So if you see like everybody's buying Dogecoin, that should tell you something. It doesn't mean they're all conspiring together. It just means that for some reason that they're all getting into that one. So, you can mimic these behaviors, and maybe somebody telegraphs a move into another coin. Yeah. And maybe there's patterns created. Maybe these people cycle amongst different coins in different ways, but it allows you to kind of see, hopefully be able to divine where capital's flowing next. Because the whole key in investing is to get out in front of the money. So you're there first. And then when the money comes pouring through the toll booth that you just set up, that's when you take your profits.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what this is really good for, intelligence, getting intel on what other people are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're running late here, and I don't think we have anything of consequence else that we haven't talked about.
Yeah,
Pantera Capital put bought 4.9 million of liquidity, which is a good sign. Everybody's getting kind of hot and bothered about liquidity and their chicken bonds. Pace is picking up with them. Tech layoffs, Joe. Meta, Amazon announced. We talked about everybody's laying them off. A lot of good talent out there for Web3. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. Do we want to do Twitter Spaces tomorrow?
Yeah, let's try it out. Why not? Yeah.
All right.
I mean, because I want to get to where we're just doing it on, I mean, I want to say this, I'm not anointing it that this is the answer, but it really would be cool if we could get a little more engagement with, our core audience in ways where people can comment, I guess. But I also like the idea of being able to do it in, one platform again, where everybody's watching there maybe versus YouTube.
Well, we can't do video there is the only problem. So, like I said, I tried to sync it up, but I couldn't. You know what? Let's talk after the show. I'm thinking maybe we'll do an evening thing one time for 30 minutes.
Just like a test run, just a totally different thing.
Yeah, like DeFi dinner, like Shizzy wants. Shizzy wants.
Yeah, let's do that. That's great, because then it could just be a whole different feel.
Yeah, we can wrap up whatever we missed during the day. All right, so tomorrow will be normal YouTube channel, guys. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, Joe.
Yeah, look, I mean, my exit messaging is that I don't see as much doom and gloom out there. I mean, when you think about these colossal F-ups over the last 6 months, this is just like trimming the fat out. And so this is the way markets work. And this is the way we move forward. So on the macro side, the high level side, I see money being made over there. And I see, I see that soft landing. I see positive stuff in China. I see positive stuff coming, in the Ukraine-Russia stuff. So again, I feel like we're getting ready to blow the lid off, and that's all good for crypto. But I'm going to focus more on the purely decentralized stuff. I'm going to try to get closer to what Brad's doing rather than, worrying about all my friends' seed phrases and shit like that. Because they got to figure that shit out. We all got hacked in the past. So we nutted up and kept going. They can do it too. So let's find the cool stuff that they're going to come and find in 12 months.
Yep.
And let's make sure we go in and, chains, protocols, and let's go in and just dominate these. And then when I do come to the light, to the real deals, we're all going to do okay. So that's where I'm going to be looking like for the future. So I'm feeling super positive.
Awesome. I'm glad you are. That's fantastic news. Thank you everybody for listening, watching, etc. Thank you. Oops, I closed my comments. Thank you, Shizzy, Sean, Chuck. That was it for today, right? Shizzy, Sean, and Chuck. A new crew today. Shizzy, Sean, and Chuck. It's hard to say. Say that 3 times fast.
Shizzy, Sean, Chuck. Shizzy, Sean, Chuck. Yeah, the Shizzy to Sean part's a little tricky.
Thanks so much for participating. We appreciate you guys being involved, engaged, giving us your thoughts and feedback and humor. It's appreciated. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please just take a minute to rate, review us, and let your friends know about us. Same with Spotify. If you're on YouTube, please click the subscribe button, click the little bell so you get notified when we put out new episodes or when we're live. And make sure you please smash that bell the thumbs up on the episode you're watching now, so we boost our presence in the algorithm. Hope everyone has a lovely afternoon. We'll talk to you soon. Love you guys.